Un aplauso para mami y papi, porque en verdad rompieron.
Damn, that's hot. Alright guys, let's get started. Welcome to Café con Yeli. My name is Yeli and I'm your host. I am a mother of 2 young boys. I'm a serial entrepreneur, work in progress, healing in real time, all while trying to remember what I walked into the room for. Whether you're on your way to work, or you're locked in the bathroom crying, or you're hiding from your kids, make sure you stay tuned in because this podcast is most likely for you. Our first episode is called We Want Boundaries, but No Accountability. That's not healing. That's actually just control. Let's be real. A lot of you guys are holding boundaries as an escape to avoid accountability. It's giving, if I ignore it, I don't have to own it. It's giving growth is too hard, so I'll just call you toxic and block you. And don't get me wrong, I actually really love a good boundary, especially when that's protecting me, my son, my life, my vibe, our business, whatever we got going on. But some of you guys are not setting boundaries. You're actually just protecting your ego. And if this already got you mad, then maybe that's a boundary you need to set with yourself. Let's talk about it. We throw the word boundary around all the time because it's 2025 and everybody thinks they are a psychologist / psychiatrist. And newsflash, you do have to go to school for that. I honestly think that's part of today's self-help culture, which, hey, listen, I'm all for it. I love that we're out here trying to heal and help, but I feel like we've taken it a step too far. We always constantly want to sit here and be like, you sound like you have this. You sound like you're codependent. You sound like you have anxiety. You sound like you're unavoidant. You sound like, no, listen, I get it. But again, we're not psychiatrists. We're not psychologists. We don't have the right to sit here and diagnose people, including our damn selves. I've had it with people throwing the word boundary around like it's a spiritual Uno reverse card. And the truth is that everybody is out here screaming, I'm protecting my peace, I'm protecting my boundaries, but I feel like it's gotten to a point where, baby, you're not protecting your peace anymore. At this point, you're just scared to hear the truth. And I get it. I mean, the truth is scary, but hearing the truth is also growth. I'm going to open up with you guys about me. For those of you who don't know me, I am extremely confrontational. And it's not that like I need to be confrontational. It's just kind of in me. Like when something bothers me, you're not only going to see it all over me, like I have to actually physically talk about it. And I'm not an avoidant. Like I actually like to deal with things head on. And I understand that that's not everybody's way of resolving conflict per se, but I can't keep it in. Like I actually have to talk. If I'm hurt or if I feel like I hurt someone, it's like I just spill and I just open up a can of worms. When I see conflict, the way I resolve it is by talking about it. I kind of have sometimes no chill, which I get, but I'm not disrespectful. I'm just very blunt about it. And I can understand that not everybody takes that in well, but that's just my communication style because I just feel like it will get resolved quicker if we talk about it. But some people, they just don't operate that way. Here's an example, right? If I had a friend and I call her out on her bullshit, and she hits me with, oh, I'm setting a boundary and doesn't talk to me about it. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off right there. You're not setting a boundary. You're actually just feeding your ego and you're actually stopping yourself from healing, because if it's a conversation where I feel like I need to resolve something with you and you are stopping yourself from resolving that because you call it a boundary, then it just shows me that you're lacking self-growth. And that just doesn't, it's not just with friends, it's with family members, it's in relationships, It's in anything, like the moment you stop actually being opened with your loved ones and taking accountability, and not just taking accountability, even just being opened to what they're telling you, it's the moment you're like, it's not a boundary, you're just setting up a wall. There's a difference. Like, you're literally in denial. What are other ways that we've heard recently people abuse the word boundaries? I'm feeling attacked, or I don't have time for this energy, or I'm just not in that space right now. I don't need that negativity. And yes, granted, there are definitely moments people are throwing negativity at you. I'm not saying this is in all cases, but it is very common that people use that, because everybody is a self-claimed therapist and is walking around undiagnosed, but somehow they diagnose themselves. No, people actually go see a psychologist and get diagnosed for real, before you start saying, I have this, I have that. But with that being said, people now, they just are using those terms, boundaries, negativity. Oh, I'm traumatized. I mean, that's a big one. Everybody's talking about how traumatized they are. And yes, definitely. I mean, trauma is real. I have a lot of trauma about multiple things in my life, but I feel like we've gotten so used to this new language in our lingo. Like, everybody's just walking around, oh, it's because I'm traumatized. Respectfully, shut up. Just shut up. It's not because you're traumatized. It's because you're lacking self-growth and you don't want to put in the effort to grow. And I'm guilty of that. I mean, I've done that in instances, so I'm far from perfect. I have definitely, for sure, used a lot of therapeutical terms that, I have no right throwing around, but I have done it. And that's because, you know, us millennials and this culture now is like therapy culture, self-care culture. Like, that's what's going on. And there's just a difference, like, you can be into self-care and you can be into therapy, but when you start abusing the terms and you start not taking accountability for your actions and just using the word boundaries as like a way of deflecting, then in all actuality, what you're trying to do is manipulate me and play reverse psychology on me. And that's when the problem is going to kick in. And now you're not actually setting a boundary, you're just a fucking manipulator. Let's talk about boundaries in relationships. What if you're dating somebody and you're trying to get them to open up about something, and then they hit you with, to be honest, I don't owe anybody emotional access to me. That's just my boundary. Okay, facts. If you don't want to open up emotionally and give anybody access, 100%. But then also, why are you in a relationship? The two don't go hand in hand, because to be in a relationship, you need to be emotionally available. And I feel like it's so common that people are out here saying, like, close the door. Fuck. A girl can't even do her podcast out here because these kids are bugging. Anyways, the thing is, I feel like boundaries are set to teach people how to love us better, right? Like, if I really don't like being touched in a certain area because I have a bad experience in my past being touched in that area, I'm trying to teach you how to love me appropriately, right? Which is what boundaries are for. It's for people to be taught how to love that person better. But now I just feel like we've started using the word boundaries to silence people. Boundaries exist for people to learn how to love that person better. I set boundaries when there's something that I don't like that's happening that is genuinely, truly hurting me, and I don't want that person to hurt me. On the contrary, I want that person to love me better. Does that make sense? Like, I want that person to fill my cup and speak my love language the way I would like for it to be spoken. Not because I'm being a bitch and I just don't want to be accountable for certain things, be held accountable for certain things. There's a difference. 2025 and this healed culture. I love that we're all trying to heal, but stop using and abusing the term healing. I'm gonna need people to actually take some workshops, maybe seek some therapy. If you guys can't afford therapy, there's plenty of apps that offer a lot of exercises that are therapeutical, and even journaling. I mean, anything. What is your scapegoat? Working out, cooking, journaling, walking. It could be anything, but those are things I'd consider healing. Being rude and stuck up and unbothered is not healing. I mean, hey, we saw it on Love Island. Shout out Love Island. That's my shit. But if you're a Love Island fan, we saw it with Huda when she was sitting there and she was all mad with her sunglasses on. Actually, let me go get my sunglasses. All mad with her sunglasses on. What was this? When her ex Jeremiah came in on his little boat date, she was like, with a stank ass face. And that took me out because honestly, there was so many memes after that. A lot of mostly women were saying like how unbothered I am. But in all actuality, she was 100% pressed. Like, I'm talking about pressed like a damn panini. She was bothered AF. So this whole like unbothered culture, like, you're actually not unbothered. You're actually pressed and you're actually using unbothered in a toxic way. And that's just really not the case. Like, you are 100% bothered, and it's not healthy to sit there and act like you're unbothered and just kind of be like a douche about it. Being unbothered is not being healed. To all my girlies and all the men out here who are like in their healing phase, I'm letting you guys know now, healing does not mean that you're unbothered. Healing means you have truly overcame the obstacles in your life that caused you all this pain. And now, moving forward, you know how to deal with those encounters, and the tools that you have created during your healing process, you now use them. That is healing. It is not sitting there and being unbothered and being rude and just kind of being stuck up. Like, no, you just actually have a really bad ego. Not every uncomfortable situation is toxic. Not every disagreement is unsafe. Not every person who challenges you is actually crossing a boundary. Let's make that clear. Growth is uncomfortable. If it was comfortable, everyone here would be doing amazing in life. Everybody here would be a millionaire. Do you guys think that millionaires became millionaires just by sitting on their ass? No, they did not. They had to encounter discomfort to be able to grow. I've said what I said, and now I want to hear your story. Has there been a situation with a loved one where you felt like they were setting a boundary and maybe they weren't setting a boundary at all? Maybe they were running away from the real issues? Or have you been the one that has set a boundary, but now that you listen to this episode, you feel like you didn't actually set a boundary? You were just running away from your feelings and hiding and not healing. Let's talk about it. Send a DM, drop a comment below. The last thing I'm going to say, definitely protect your peace, but don't run away from the people that are trying to love you. Okay? They're just trying to do what they think is right in your life. All right, mi gente, that's today's episode. Just a little bit of truth with a shot of shade. If you felt called out, good. If you felt seen, even better. And if you're mad, well, it sounds like it hit. Next week, we're getting into some toxic relationship behavior. Make sure you're subscribed, make sure your edges are moisturized, and make sure you set a real boundary. Like, don't blame getting back with your ex on Mercury being in retrograde. See you next time at the Café. Yeli out.
Ya estamos en la calle, sal de tu balcón. Por la mañana café, por la tarde ron.